took a chance and sold and gave away everything that I own to experience some much needed adventure in my life. So I'd like you to come along and experience it all with me every step of the way. On my channel, Narrowboat Cruising and Lifestyle. Morning YouTubers. We're carrying on today where we left off from the last video at Bridge 118, near to where the great train robbery took place. We're coming up to a blind bend, and this is a worst nightmare scenario. There's a wide beam coming at you at the last second. I bibbed the horn, but you've got to hope that he's seen you, because he's going right into a low sun, right in his eyes. Yep, he saw me. Alright mate. How you going, alright? We're not far now from Leighton Buzzard, where I'm going to do the work to get Aitch through the boat safety examination, and I'll show you that in this episode. And you'll see what I had to do and how I got on. I was going to pull over onto the lock landing, but I've just noticed that the gate's open. I'd say that the wide beam I just passed did shut the gates behind him, but sometimes they just won't stay shut. Oh, and by the way, this is Church Lock. Looks nice around here. Going by the name of this lock, there's probably a church, or there was a church somewhere around here. I'm trying not to get covered in all this gunk that's on the lock wall. That's another lock done. We've got one more to go, and then we've reached our destination. I sounded a bit like a sat-nav there, didn't I? Perhaps I've missed my vocation in life. Where all them boats are moored up, that you can see on the left, is called Grove Lock Marina. There's a sign up on their offices advertising a chandlery. I thought, that's handy, I might be able to get some stuff out of here. When I went in there, they had about 3 items on a board, and they called that a chandlery. This boat here hasn't left me a lot of room to get on the lock landing. And if you look at it, it's a dodgy angle as well to get onto. I've started to sound like a right old moaner. There's a nice looking pub right in front of me there, called the Grove Lock. This is what it looks like in the summer. Lovely. Before I set off today, my plan was to moor up just past this lock, between this lock and the main road. It'll be a bit short of Leighton Buzzard, but it'll be close to all the industrial estates. That'll give me half a chance to source some of the materials I need to do the little jobs. Somewhere past this boat will do. That's if I can get in and not scraping the bottom. Yep, this'll do. I'm moored up where that red arrow is, and if you look up a bit and to the right, you'll see why I picked out this place. The boat safety certificate is a bit like an MOT on a car, but you don't have it every year, you have it every 4 years on a boat. And it seems like they have tightened up and made it a bit more difficult to get through. Not that I know, because I've only been on here just over a year and a half. But we'll see the first little jobs that I do, and I'll explain it as I go along. The bank of batteries need to be covered, and they also need to be clamped down so they don't move. So I'm going to have to make something up. So I went on one of my many long walks and got some uni-strut, some 10mm stud, and some nuts and bolts and washers. I'm going to cut 2 pieces of uni-strut up and fix them either side of the battery bank with some grab adhesive. Fix 2 pieces of 10mm stud in the brackets either side, and then clamp down the whole lot over the plywood with another piece of uni-strut, and hopefully that's good enough. It's a bit awkward here for me to show you because I'm right under the cruiser deck on the back of the boat. That should do the trick. Them batteries are going nowhere now, they're held down pucker. Now I'm going to tackle the stove, and I've picked a perfect day to have no heat in the boat. The stove is in a bit of a sorry state. The cast iron reducers around the top of the stove there are all cracked, round the front, round the back, and getting it out where it was more or less welded together, I had to break most of it, so it's all got to be replaced. I've got to replace all the heat bricks as well. That was all cracked, you can see them there. I fitted a new collar and a reducer on the top there, and I replaced all the heat bricks with new ones, and this should be enough just to get me some warmth for the day. I also had to replace the door rope on both of the doors. You can see me here digging out all the old stuff. I couldn't find any stove shops or anything to do with stoves in Leighton Buzzard, and I had to get the gear delivered to Claire, and she brought it up to me. What an angel she is. This is what the new door rope looks like fitted. And this is what the stove looks like after I sprayed it all up and finished. Dave the examiner asked me if it's a new stove. I'm glad he didn't see how it looked before I got hold of it. There was a little dribble of water getting down onto the stove now and again. So I dug all the old sealant out of the chimney collar and resealed it all. I also replaced one of the old smoke alarms and bought 2 brand new carbon monoxide detectors. You can see I've wrote the date on there, December 28, when it runs out. And there's another one further up the boat. They're not cheap. When I was ringing round to get an examiner to come down to the boat, because I live on the boat, the gas regulations are a lot stricter, and they wasn't qualified to come and do the examination. And when I spoke to Dave, the bloke that I eventually got to come and do it, he said if I fitted an Aldi gas leak detector, then he'd be able to come and do the examination. And I'll show you all about that. The hose to the gas bottles used to come straight out of the bulkhead, but I've had to fit this Aldi bubble detector before it gets to the bottles there at the source. To test for leaks in the system, you press the top down, and if you get bubbles in that oil at the bottom there, what you can see through the glass, it's leaking. Dave the examiner there is not playing about with his phone. He's working out if I've got enough ventilation for the size of my boat. I'll give you the news of how I got on, or how Aitch got on. Aitch fouled. I'll show you what Aitch fouled on. Aitch fouled because it didn't have a standards number on the old hose that was coming from the gas bottles. But it's no problem, I just got a new one. Sent Dave the picture and it passed. Woohoo! I did do a lot of other little jobs around the boat. For instance, I had to make sure that the gas pipe was clipped every 150 mil. I protected some cables. I put some straps around fire extinguishers. Things like that. But I didn't want to bore the pants off you and show you all them little things. Dave, the examiner, was very fair and strict. Like, he made sure that everything was safe. He was here for 4 hours going through everything with a fine-tooth comb. So I'd recommend him, and I'll leave his details in the description of the video. That's about it really. If you enjoyed this video and you're thinking about subscribing to my channel, like I always say, don't subscribe just yet. Make sure you watch another few videos to make sure you like it, and if you do like it, then please subscribe and I'll be really grateful. So thanks for coming along and watching my trials and tribulations, and hopefully I'll see you next time.